Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this deep dive. Today, we're diving into a really influential, honestly, timeless work that looks at faith, philosophy, and that human search for meaning, C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity. We've really dug into the book, and our mission, as always, is to pull out the key ideas, help you understand why it still hits home for so many people.
Yeah, and it's fascinating when you think about where it came from. I mean, it wasn't first written as a book, right? It started as BBC radio talks during World War II, of all
Yes.
time.
Right, during the Blitz.
Exactly. Lewis was trying to offer some clarity, maybe some hope. He had this amazing gift for taking these huge questions, God, morality, what it means to be human, and just boiling them down into logical, relatable ideas.
Accessible, yeah.
Totally accessible. He managed to invite everyone in, believers, skeptics, and without hitting them over the head with heavy theology right away.
And that's got to be why it still connects so widely, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like a lecture. It's more like he's inviting you to think things through with him. Starting with something, we all kind of get that inner sense of right and wrong.
Precisely.
Yeah.
He cleverly gets around all the complex arguments between denominations, at least initially. He starts with what he calls the law of human nature, that shared moral compass we seem to have inside us, even though we often mess it up. His argument is that this universal standard, the one we appeal to even when we break it, points towards something or someone beyond us, a lawgiver.
So it's a logical progression from common human experience towards the idea of God.
Step by step. It's built very carefully, avoiding that dense theological jargon, at least at the start.
And what really makes Lewis stand out, I think, building on that logic, is how he uses these really vivid, everyday pictures to explain abstract stuff. You mentioned analogies. The fleet of ships is probably his most famous one, isn't it? How does that work?
Oh, absolutely. That's peak Lewis, making the complex easy to grasp. The fleet of ships is just brilliant for showing how personal morality, getting along with others, and our ultimate purpose are all linked.
Okay.
So for the whole fleet to get where it's going, first, each ship needs to be seaworthy.
Yeah.
Right? That's individual goodness, keeping yourself in order.
Right, personal virtue.
Then the ships need to avoid crashing into each other. That's social morality, how we treat our neighbors.
Makes sense.
And the third thing, what may be the most important, is they all need to be sailing to the same destination, the right port. And that's about our direction, our relationship with God, the ultimate point of it all. If you ignore any one of those, the whole voyage is in trouble.
Huh. It really does make you pause and consider, where does our sense of fairness or justice come from? What other sorts of practical insights does he offer for just living life?
Well, he doesn't just stop at arguing for God's existence. He then explores what it means to actually live as if that's true. So he talks about core virtues, forgiveness, hope, faith, love, but in a way that feels really concrete, things you can actually do.
Like the swimming analogy for faith.
Exactly. He says faith isn't just agreeing that certain facts are true, it's more like learning to swim. You can believe the water will hold you up, theoretically, but you don't actually swim until you trust yourself to it, until you get in. It's active trust, putting it into practice.
Which kind of leads to a common question or maybe a critique, doesn't it? His logic is tight, people often grant that, but some argue his conclusions still rely on a leap of faith, not just pure reason. How does Mere Christianity handle that?
That's a really important point. And honestly, I think Lewis himself would probably agree to an extent. He lays out the rational groundwork incredibly thoroughly. But yes, there comes a point where intellectually agreeing something seems true needs to become a personal commitment, a step of trust.
So the logic opens the door, but you still have to choose to walk through it.
Something like that. He presents a worldview that aims to make sense of reality, including our deepest feelings and moral instincts. For many, after following his arguments, that step of faith feels less like a blind jump and more like the next logical move.
And maybe that's why a book written, 80 years ago during a war still feels so relevant. The fundamental questions haven't really changed, have they?
Not at all. Why do we feel things are right or wrong? Is there something more? How do we live a good life? These are our questions today, just as much as they were Lewis's then. He warns against what he called chronological snobbery.
Oh, yeah, the idea that newer is always better.
Right. He reminds us that some truths are timeless,
Yeah.
precisely because they are true, regardless of the era.
So when you boil it down, Mere Christianity isn't just theology locked away in a library. It's philosophy. It's practical wisdom. It offers a real path towards living with deeper meaning. Still powerful today.
Absolutely. And I think, ultimately, Lewis extends an invitation, not just to nod along with his logic, but for each of us to undertake our own search for truth, honestly and courageously wherever it might lead. It's a reminder that these aren't just questions for experts, but for every single person willing to think and be open.
A great place to leave it. Thank you for listening, everyone. And remember to like, share, and subscribe if you found this inspiring.